DJ, now we're chatting here. I think the actual player developers would really benefit from this. The idea of, hey, you're going to be working with our players. How are we going to do this? And I can think back to my experience and other experiences, but like, are those guys buying into what needs to be done? Because they have the hands-on, they're hands-on daily with what we're trying to produce here in a big league organization with our farm system, these prospects that we've given tons of money to. Hey, we should probably put a lot of emphasis on the development of our coaches. How are we teaching these things? Because the thing that I can think about from some of my experiences and just being with coaches. I mean, I was at a 8U baseball practice the other day doing some pitching lessons, and I really am adamant that one, most great players succeed in spite of their coaching. Two, people want you to validate what you are doing. So pitching coach with this 8-year-old, hey, can you get him to throw harder? Like in my head, no, I can't. This kid's throwing strikes. I don't have to say anything. If you can just shut up and be here and let him do his thing, stay out of his way. And I think a lot of professional organizations, you have coaches who, hey, I got to make sure they know that I'm valuable here. I got to do something versus just shut up, hold the towel, and give me a ball when I need it. Is that something like, how do we work with coaches better in developing players?
So we talked about the synergies that need to exist between player development and scouting. And this could be in curveball, like physical development, whether it's curveball development, a swing change, or whatever the case might be. But a lot of it has to do, in my estimation, with knowing the player. And one of the things that I used to believe this, and I don't believe this anymore, because I see how it manifests itself in player development. We used to say, hey, the scouts see a player here, they interview a player. By the time they get to player development's going to know that player better in 2 weeks or 3 weeks than the scouts ever knew the player. And I think to myself, why? Just because they're around him? They don't really know how that kid operates. That's where I think, I talked to someone like Jay, and it hits home, because what you're trying to do on the scouting side is really truly understand the player, hand them off to a group of people that are going to then have to bring the best out of that player. And if they don't know how that player is hardwired, the problem is it might get stuck. Might get stuck in the mud. And we all know this. We're all ex-athletes here. Players get labeled, and decisions are made about that player because we label them. And then all of a sudden they get stuck in the mud, or development veers too far off course and the player can't recover. And then let's be honest, professional sports is just difficult. It's hard no matter who you are. So I think it's critically important that player development utilizes this type of information when putting together these development plans, because it's highly individualized stuff.